Well, g'day everyone, Brian from Prime Cuts Lawn Care here in the patrol. Got the ZT6000 on the back, just heading out to the small farm, which I haven't done a lot of work really there this year, for obvious reason, being so hot and dry in December and a reasonable portion of February. But with that rain the other day, I'd say it'd be 10 days to 2 weeks ago, things have really taken off, and so out there to basically mow it like I've normally done. So I'll get a bit of footage of that for you. I've been quite busy mowing and places, because it's been really good, I'd call it beautiful autumn weather. So this morning, for example, it was 8 degrees Celsius, so it's starting to cool down, and we'll get to about, I think it was about 26 Celsius this afternoon. So the grass is a bit dewy in the morning, and then by about 11 o'clock it is sort of drying out, even though the grass internally is still quite damp or moist. So it's really good autumn mowing. I've just got a tanker in front of me going into a service station, so we'll just be a bit careful here. Ease in. I'll be filling up the fuel supply within that service station, which is good because things are getting tight in Australia with fuel because of what's happening in Iran. So everyone's, I guess, just keeping topped up. So we'll just see what happens over this next month. I have my normal jerry cans or fuel cans, so I always keep them topped up anyway. I've got 2 big 20 litre jerry cans, and then I've got 2 10 litres and a 5 litre, so I've got about 75 litres. And then the other thing, and what's good about the patrol, sorry about the sun, but it's just at the wrong angle, with my Nissan Patrol, the previous owner installed LPG gas, so I run it on LPG, and I don't think there's any issue with it around. And the other part of that is not a lot of people these days have LPG, so the demand on it isn't as high. So hopefully we'll be right in and around Yass. I know in some of the other country areas, I've heard there's rationing at up to, you can only get $50 worth at Temora. I know one big servo in Wagga Wagga, it ran out, and sort of more in northern New South Wales there's quite a few service stations which have run out. So anyway, sort of how it is. But yeah, a lot of the grass since that rain, one place it had grown a foot in 2 weeks, and that because that's my normal rotation. So but it's cutting really well, and it scrubs up really nicely because it's not as thick as what it is in spring. So I really enjoy autumn mowing because the, let's call it, the finished product at the end really blings and really looks good. So not much else going on. I have a Ventrac. I got a quote for and won the quote for a Ventrac job next Tuesday. I will have enough fuel for that, which is good, and I'll get vision of that as well. I've got a do some work at the historic property, which you all know, and actually that needs a good mow. I've let that go for a little bit just so I can you know, show that, and it'll scrub up really well as well. So I'm sorry about this this glare on you, but it's sort of coming in from the back of my shoulder towards the east, and I'm heading to the west. So I'll get set up when I get out there, and we'll get some vision. So that's all done, everyone. Striped that pretty well. Still dewy, and we'll move up to the top there now. that's done, everyone. So I know it's a long way up to see it, but I just got to get the mowing done. So that came up beautifully, everybody. It's striped really well. We'll just have a quick look of where I've been. So that's the last little bit I've done, and then hopefully the sun's not too much in the way. A little bit clumpy in there. I'll give that a quick run over, but then right down the hill there, right further past, that's in that cage thing, that's a climbing rose. But all the way down, I didn't show the right hand side, it's too fiddly, but it's all done as well. I'll just give these little clumpy bits a tidy up, and I've just got this little section just here, but I won't show that on video. as you can see, everyone, in the middle there's some really rough bits, so you just have to go slow and steady. Don't want to break anything. We'll move up the top there. So everything I've done so far is at 2¼ inches. I'm moving up to the toothed grass at the top, and the tooth there and around the house I do at 3 inches. So we'll just move up a little bit. Now just remember, I push it out because it goes into a paddock, so the grass clippings doesn't matter. So hopefully we'll get a bit of an angle here. And it doesn't fall over. we'll move on to the yard around the house now. So what happened there, everybody? Where I stopped, I'll show you. Doink. So when I went around that little apple tree, and I went round the wrong way, didn't I? It completely snapped off the PTO switch. So luckily, and it looks similar. We'll just go to where my older Bobcat ZT6000 is, and they look pretty similar. So I'm going to do a bit of cannibalizing this because I really need the ZT6000. I've got 3 jobs to do with that. The one sort of today is not as critical, but the 2 over the weekend are. So and then I've also just been to my local dealer, and they're ordering the whole switch part in, because obviously I need to get one. So anyway, one of those things.